Hi, everybody, and welcome to City Beat. We are coming to you from the beautiful Events Center at the Cleveland Clinic Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health in the heart of downtown in our medical district. I am your host, Nancy Byrne. We are so lucky to have this center in Las Vegas. Many of you might know that it was conceived by local entrepreneur and philanthropist Larry Ruvo to honor his father Lou, who had died of Alzheimer's disease. He knew firsthand, along with his family, the unique challenges Alzheimer's presents to the caregiver and the patient. So he wanted a center that would address those issues. Here's a little history. The center opened its doors in 2009. The iconic building designed by world-renowned architect Frank Gehry was attracting attention even before that, as it was being constructed and continues to stop people in their tracks for photos of the silver boxes that appear to be melting in the sun. But it's not only the appearance of the building that's remarkable, it's what goes on inside that continues to amaze. Since 2009, the staff here has conducted 135,000 patient appointments. And it's not only treatment that goes on in here. In the past 19 years, there have been 70 clinical trials, inching us closer and closer to a cure for many neurological diseases. And while the research and treatment taking place here has helped it achieve the recent #4 ranking by U.S. News and World Report in the 2019 Best Hospitals survey, there's something else that takes place here that makes it stand out. It's the focus not only on the patients, but their caregivers. We'd like to focus on that aspect of this Cleveland Clinic. And to do so, I'm very fortunate to have a very good friend who's willing to speak openly about being a caregiver for her mother for many years, who was struck by Alzheimer's. We are hoping that hearing her story and discovering the services available here and other facilities, you will know you're not alone. Norma Jean Swensk, or Jeannie as she is more commonly known, loved life and loved living in Las Vegas near her daughter Sherry and grandson Ethan. But in her mid-70s, she was becoming unsteady on her feet, so Sherry moved her into a casita outside her own home just to be safe. It was while packing her up for that move, something happened that struck Sherry as very odd.
I happened to find an old panoramic photograph from my senior high school year. And I unfurled it and I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, look, it's my senior picture from high school. Look at all of my classmates. And she got all excited and she looked over my shoulder and she goes, oh, that's so fun. Where am I? And I said, what?
That was the first indication that something was wrong. It wasn't the last. In fact, Jeannie began showing signs of confusion and unsteadiness more and more as time went by.
She was falling a lot. She was talking about hearing voices and seeing people in the courtyard outside of her casita. The doorbell was ringing all hours of the day. The doorbell didn't ring into her casita. And I was finding bills that weren't getting paid. She was mixing up her medication.
Sherry didn't want to believe her mom might be seriously ill, but she knew the next step had to be a trip to the Cleveland Clinic Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health, where Jeannie was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, the second most common form of Alzheimer's disease. Sherry knew this journey would eventually lead to her mother's passing. What she didn't realize was how difficult the journey would be.
Morning, Mother Nature giving us beautiful skies this morning, and it looks like she might be giving us some rain.
With a career that requires her to be up and at work basically in the middle of the night, as the weather anchor of Channel 8's morning show Good Day, she already has a pretty grueling schedule. There's reporting and public appearances that go along with that. And her son Ethan was only 8 years old when this all started. She said trying to balance it all became overwhelming.
I was calling a friend who owned a caregiving service. And I was, Kathy, you got to help me. I can't watch her all night because I got to get up at 2:30 in the morning. And I can't be over there all evening because I've got to be helping my son with homework. And I've got to fix dinner. But she's got to eat. And I got to get her to the bathroom. And then what happens when I've got to change her bedding and her clothes, but I've got to be back over at the house because, I was a hamster on a wheel.
She knows being a caregiver to anyone with any debilitating disease can be exhausting. But caring for an Alzheimer's patient has its own unique challenges. Challenges best understood by others in the same arena.
Caregivers got to be able to vent, you know, and a caregiver feels guilty because sometimes you get angry at that person for taking all your time and your energy, and you love that person, but oh my gosh, this was never supposed to happen, and now you've affected my life. And it's not just your life, it's my life, my family's life, and I love you, and why are you doing this to me? And you should be able to feel all those feelings and share those feelings with somebody who identifies.
Providing that kind of support is a specialty here at the Cleveland Clinic Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health. In fact, the staff here will tell you treating caregivers is as important as treating the patients.
And the hard truth of this illness is that the caregivers are going to be the survivors, and we need to help them think about their lives like that so that they don't become so consumed with caregiving that they suddenly are disconnected from their friends, from their family, from the things that are important to them, because when their person's gone and the person's died, or they go to a facility and the person is saying, what do I do now with my time? When they're in that emotionally hard place, we want them to have easy access to those supports. We have quite a wide range of support groups here, and some are with the person with the illness and with the caregivers. And those can be really crucial. We sometimes get people who come for a couple of times and then they're done, and other people, again, who are regulars. But I think those, I see all the time the impact of people coming and realizing they're not alone.
Support groups and counseling are both helpful to the patient and their loved ones during all stages of the disease. They can even help come up with ways to rethink routines, such as how to handle the holidays.
Especially if you're the person who has always cooked the meals, hosted the meals, done the presents, like you're the person who does all that. Whether you're the caregiver or the person with the illness, you may need your family or your friends to step up or to not expect the same things of you.
Ruth has many stories of how the support groups here have helped people, particularly those who feel isolated by what they're going through.
People are afraid they're going to lose people, and that happens. But I also had a woman say one time, we couldn't believe the numbers of friends that we lost, but the beautiful people that have come into our lives since this experience has been amazing.
Sherry believes such an organized support group would have helped her and her son Ethan deal with the changes in his Nana.
He knew how important it was just for her to see him, and it made her smile. But there were some days, truly, it was really hard for him. And he vacillated, and he didn't necessarily grow with her journey the way I'd hoped he would, but you can't hold it against anybody because it's so scary.
But she says she has few regrets. She did what she felt was best every step of the way and is thankful. In the process, she learned to look for joyful moments, just like Jeannie always did.
She looked for joy in every single day, whether she had a cupcake for dessert. It was whether they were going to have a Frank Sinatra impersonator and she was singing, or looking forward to a church service, whatever. It's just whatever made her happy at that moment in that day. That's what we looked forward to. And I was grateful for every moment.
Jeannie Swensk died March 20th of 2017, surrounded by loved ones. You might think that Sherry might want to just step away from all of this, but not my friend Sherry. She's on the board of the Alzheimer's Association and has recently been trained to lead her own support group at Avenir Memory Care, all volunteer work. If you'd like more information, here's where you can go. You can go to alz.org for more information on support groups and Alzheimer's in general. And of course, take advantage of the fact that we have the world-renowned Cleveland Clinic in our midst. If you want more information on social services here, call 702-483-6000 or go to keepmemoryalive.org. Well, let's turn to another group that helps people every day, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue. Now, we all know that they help people and save property on a daily basis, but did you know they also save pets? Well, thanks to a partnership with Silver State Kennel Club, they're doing just that. This little white dog was carried out of a home fire, not breathing. But listen closely to these firefighters working to save him.
He was dead when they brought him out to him, and now he's been breathing and kicking a little bit. His eyes are open and he's licking his chops.
There you go, buddy. Yeah.
Out with the bad air, in with the good.
Yeah.
Literally brought back from the dead and into the arms of his owner. But as dedicated and caring as our firefighters are, saves like this wouldn't be as common without pet mask rescue kits. In the last 10 years, dozens of these kits have been donated to Las Vegas Fire and Rescue by the Silver State Kennel Club's Canine Giving Fund. Another 10 were just donated last month here at Station 1. Now a third of our trucks carry the masks.
It's just really amazing to watch the paramedics. They treat that animal just like a human being. Everybody gathers around and they're stimulating and they're talking, and the paramedics are down there working on it, and we know that is just as important as if it was another family member.
Representatives from Silver State Kennel Club and the Canine Giving Fund were at Station 1 to hand over the masks. They say they get a great deal of satisfaction donating the masks and knowing pets' lives are being saved.
We understand, the trauma that the family is going through, and we want to be able to help them through whatever they're going through to save those dogs, those cats, the snakes, the gerbils.
I've seen him sit on the curb with a sooty cat. It was on the news, and he had a mask, and he was doing it, and he was just pushing on, and he got him back with the mask, and it was amazing.
According to Tim Zemansky, these masks are now just a natural part of every call. When fire strikes and the firefighters are making their primary search for the people in the home, they know where to look for frightened pets, so they look for them too.
We'll say we're bringing an animal out, and the paramedics will get the gear out and they will start. We always have a fire medical division set up, we call it, where they're ready to receive victims, and they have all their equipment out, and if it's an animal, they'll pull out the pet mask and they'll work on that pet just like they do a human being.
And while they are typically used on cats and dogs, these masks of different sizes have been known to save just about any kind of pet.
And put the bird in there and just cover up the hole here. And we've had successes with this. We've done it with snakes. We've done it with all kinds of animals. And it's worked really well.
As Zemansky so accurately put it, just watching the men and women working on these animals with such care and determination, you know they take these little family members as seriously as they take the rest of their calls. Silver State Kennel Club has contributed masks to other community fire departments as well as to Metro. They contribute shields for their canine officers to use when they respond to calls with their furry partners. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to turn from adults helping people to some very special kids helping people. Stay with us. Congratulations to the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month, Cynthia Clay. Cynthia is a financial analyst and is responsible for tracking unclaimed monies due to the city. The city deals with multiple government agencies at the local, state, and federal levels, and Cynthia watches to ensure that city residents are getting the most bang for their tax dollars. For example, the city had a partnership with a state program that ended several years ago, but through Cynthia's efforts, working with the state, she was able to secure a claim of $170,000 that was still owed to the city. Another example occurred when Cynthia discovered an unpaid grant from the state to the tune of $300,000. It had been mistakenly sent to another agency. Cynthia managed to get it transferred back to the city. In all, Cynthia has collected more than $1.3 million in funds that were owed to the city but had fallen through the cracks. For her attention to detail and getting money owed to the city, paid to the city, we thank Cynthia Clay, the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month. Welcome back to City Beat from the beautiful Lou Ruvo Center. You know, this time of year, everyone seems to want to reach out and help others, and that includes some very special kids in the city's Batteries Included program. Sue Levitt stepped out with this group as they worked hard to make sure Thanksgiving was a little bit brighter for some of our seniors.
Well, I'm here helping the homeless. We're preparing bags for Thanksgiving, just to give back to the community, because I understand that not everybody is privileged, but we want to make people feel the same, because we are all people. We're all human, so we want to let people know,
For you, so that food that's going to supplement their meal, and this is good, healthy.
I do it to help people, and even if I'm not here, just with Batteries Included overall, we always do a lot of good for the community.
Wait until this bag is full, and then have the next person ready to take that bag in like this.
A major focus of the Batteries Included program is service, which is why these teens have given up their afternoon to be sure all of these bags get stuffed full with food. They are helping out with Councilman Cedric Creer's annual Thanksgiving food drive.
We really are huge on civic engagement and community service, which we try to teach the kids that there is the dichotomy there. So we do want them to feel like they're contributing to the community. A lot of these kids actually have been homeless, some are homeless, and they find themselves in these situations also. So it's always heartwarming to me to see them giving back to the community, even though some of them are not in the best of circumstances.
Along with community service, the Batteries Included program focuses on leadership, career planning, and preparing the kids for college.
Ultimately, what we want to do is ensure that the kids have college and career pathways. So if they have great leadership skills, then they can stand up for themselves, they can present themselves properly in public, and if we are helping them with the college and career pathways, they can grow up and have a job and compete in the 21st century workforce.
What would you tell other kids that might be interested in joining Batteries Included?
I would say do it because it's worth it. And after you go the first time, it won't even feel like a waste of time. You'll understand that, yes, I need to be in this.
Now that the kids have finished stuffing the bags full with all of the fixings needed for the perfect Thanksgiving dinner, they meet up with Ward 5 City Councilman Cedric Creer to help him deliver the food to needy seniors in our community.
It's pretty heavy. We're going to have someone help you, okay? Put it right in here. All right.
I feel like I made a difference, but I feel like that's not the end. I feel like there's always more to do, and I'm never going to stop until everybody's happy, really.
For City Beat, I'm Sue Levitt.
If you'd like more information about Batteries Included, go to 229 Kids. All teens are welcome, and the best news is it's free. Thank you, Sue Levitt, for that story. Well, you might be familiar with an artist in our community. He's in the Arts District. He pours all of his heart and soul into his art, which might not be that unusual for an artist, but this one proves that you can hit roadblocks in life and not let it stop you.
When I woke up 18 years ago at rock bottom and with this analyzation in my head of who I am and what I am, I simplified. And what I am is, I'm a paintbrush. Nothing great and fulfilling happens in my life without creating art. Turn it into plastic, and then this is the grain of the wood, and I absolutely love these pieces. My name is Alexander Philip Huerta, and this is my story. So that big canvas there, with any works you see with the writing on it, that's my radiant collection. I was born in 1966 in the Bay Area of California. I was born with 20% of one kidney, so my whole life was about, fighting kidney infections and the like. In 1980, my dad died of pancreatic cancer, and I watched him die in 4 months. And that was the first traumatic thing that happened in my life, but I had my mom, and she comforted me, and these paintings are about my thoughts in the moment. That's how I make these paintings, just let my thoughts just start flowing, and then I find some kind of subject matter, and I just put it down. We moved to Las Vegas. Me, my mom, my little brother, and then my mom got me a job at Harrah's. I was enjoying my life at a surface level, and then my mom died in 1990 of a heart attack. One day, bam, she's gone. About 7 months earlier, I finally went on dialysis, and they called me early in the morning and they told me, Alex, we have a kidney for you, and we want to do the transplant today. And I recuperated in a really quick way, maybe forcing myself to my feet a little sooner than I should have, but it all worked out. Until, the doctors told me, Alex, you could have one beer. Them not knowing I was an alcoholic and my parents were alcoholics. And in 1998, I got fired from Harrah's. My paperwork as a supervisor was suffering. 2 years later, I had to go on dialysis. I had lost my job, I had lost my insurance, I had too much pride to ask for help, and I didn't take my medicine to keep that kidney alive. I told myself the only really authentic feeling I had in my life was art. I had been doing art since 1996 at that time, in my room, painting with oils, when I didn't have a beer to go to, a bar to go to, a girl to chase, a buddy to hang out with, a game to watch. I was painting. Chicago, Montreal, California.
They're all based on some area?
No, that's places that I've sent these shoes to. I started contemplating doing art every day in my room, and what that taught me was the things I need are the things that I'm going to use my energy for, and my love and my money, so I can have a stable life, so I can paint every day. How are you today?
Very good.
So you found our little arts district?
Yes, it's fabulous.
It is an added special experience for a Las Vegas visitor now, is what I believe. The Arts Factory is ground zero for the art scene here. It is what started the arts in downtown Las Vegas. I opened my studio in October of 2008 here at the Arts Factory, and it has been the greatest 10 years of my life. Still doing dialysis for 18 years straight, 3 days a week, 3 hours a day, but for 18 years straight, my soul has been getting filled up. I hope to be in this studio for the rest of my life. If not, I'll be here in this arts district the rest of my life somewhere.
That story was beautifully produced and edited by KCLB intern Stephen Schneider. You can find Alex in the Arts Factory at Peace and Art Studio. His website is peaceandartstudio.com. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, you can find out why it looked like the Stratosphere was trying to give the Bellagio a little run for their money when it comes to fountains.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it here. So what are you waiting for? Just go to the site.
Welcome back to City Beat from the beautiful Lou Ruvo Event Center. Well, we all know it's this time of year when we're either wearing loose clothing or trying to suck it in. Well, nutritionists will tell you that this time of year you're not only battling the types of food you're eating, but the portions, going back for seconds on stuffing. So we talked to an expert to get the scoop on what size scoops are actually considered healthy. The holidays are over, a time when we tend to give ourselves a little latitude when it comes to indulging in rich meals, desserts, and adult beverages. So now it's back to reality. And boy, does reality hit hard when we see just how much we need to scale back on our portions if we hope to see our scales scale back too. Registered dietitian CAROLYN says healthy meal sizes vary depending on many things, such as how much weight you need to lose, your age, how active you are, etc. But once you determine what your daily intake should be, you need to understand what a serving really is.
We're so used to going out to eat and you get a plate of food in front of you and it's completely filled with food and that's what we're used to seeing now. And so we kind of replicate that when we're at home. And it really starts to add up over time.
She says you can use measuring cups and kitchen scales to keep track of the food you're putting on your plate, but you can also use other household items to measure your portions. And here's where you may be a bit surprised.
A deck of cards is about a serving size of protein, so your chicken, or if you have a hamburger or a piece of steak or something, should be about this size. A serving size of fruit is about the size of a baseball, so I know sometimes we see peaches or apples that are twice this size, and that's fine. Just keep in mind that you might be eating 2 servings there instead of just 1. A piece of bread or a pancake or a waffle should be about the size of a CD. And then this one always gets people. The pasta is about the size of a computer mouse.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that looks a lot different when you eat out at a restaurant for sure.
She says the one area where you need not worry too much about portions is when it comes to eating your veggies.
Really, we want people to eat as many vegetables as they can. I don't think we've really come across too many people who say, my problem is I can't lose weight because I'm eating too many vegetables. But really, like, a portion size of raw vegetables is about what you can cup in 2 hands. And then when you cook your vegetables, they lose some water and they get a little bit smaller. So it's about what you would fit in 1 cupped hand.
She says for many, portion control is an adjustment. A trick she uses at home is using smaller plates. Instead of a 12-inch dinner plate, she puts her meal on a salad plate.
And they've actually done studies about this where they give 2 people plates of food. Let's say you get the big one and I get the small one, and they fill them up and we both eat all of our food, only I'm just as satisfied eating my smaller plate of food as you are eating your bigger plate of food.
Another trick she uses when she goes out to eat is a well-timed doggy bag.
You can do the doggy bag trick where right away before you even start eating, you get half of it in a box to go. That way you have another meal for later. It can save you a little bit money and you're not eating as much at a time.
Lastly, she says don't approach a new eating plan thinking you can never treat yourself again.
And so it's always okay to splurge every once in a while. You just want to make sure that, overall your day-to-day you're making good healthy choices and you're not having cake every day, but, saving it for those special occasions and not just a Tuesday,
So even at other times of the year when you feel like you're eating the right food, it might be your portions that are out of control that are keeping you from controlling your weight. So check on those portions before you get too discouraged. Well, that does it for another City Beat. We want to thank you for joining us from the beautiful Ruvo Center. We want to thank them for always opening their doors to us. We also want to thank Sherry Swensk for opening her heart and telling us her story. We want to remind you that the Ruvo Center is located at 888 West Bonneville Avenue. Before we go to close, you might have noticed on the morning of November 27th some water cascading off the Stratosphere Tower. No, they're not trying to compete with the Bellagio fountains. They were actually lending their tower to Las Vegas Fire and Rescue so they could practice high-rise fire suppression. Either way, it looked really cool. So enjoy this as we say goodbye.
So thanks for coming, guys. This is a great opportunity for us to train, and thanks to the Stratosphere and Thomas for setting this up for us. For the crews going up into the tower, take all your gear just like you would a normal high-rise. But it is training, so if you need to stop and ask questions, that's fine. That's what we're here for. Is there any questions from you guys?
It takes a lot of people working together in unison to make this happen and to make it happen in a timely manner. So, obviously training keeps us sharp. We have 3 different units, and that's 2 different fire agencies here. So we don't get to do this kind of stuff very often together. But if we all know each other's parts, each other's roles, and we can work in sync, then I think that's the biggest takeaway. And we learn from little things. Some things go wrong in training. We'd rather them go wrong in training than go wrong in a real world scenario.